Good morning, everyone. My name is Safal, and I'm here with my teammates Ilyang, Manya, and Jesse, and we're going to be presenting the project Stack Attack. Stack Attack is a CLI tool that helps us manage your GitHub repo and helps you stack PRs, uh, making your development workflow a piece of cake. We'll be going through our workflow in throughout the past 4 days. So we'll first be addressing the problem, and we'll be presenting why our product could be the solution. Then I would defer to my teammates to explain how it works, and we would also be discussing the milestones that we have for the future. Okay, so the problem that we're trying to address is the problem of having big PRs. So now PRs have generally the notion is that big PRs are really bad because they are very hard to debug. It's extremely hard to follow the logic that a PR is trying to address. It's also very difficult to identify points of failure, and even if somebody had the patience to review this huge stack of code, it's very difficult to find out these particular pain points, and it may be just lost in the sea of comments that we have. So the solution to this is obviously to have small PRs, small and manageable PRs, which land smaller features, and then we can stack them up to land a bigger feature. But I don't know about you guys, but if anyone has tried this is extremely complicated, and it's very hard to manage PRs because these smaller PRs need to depend on each other, and updates on earlier PRs may require individual rebases on every PR in the stack. So that's what our tool solves. So the Stack Attack is a very easy to use UI that can manage stack PRs, and it specifically addresses the problem of rebasing and PR creation. This project is clearly inspired by Facebook internal tools and how they handle stack PRs in general. So the idea was mainly derived from Fabricator, which is one of the older forks of Facebook internal tools. Fabricator is an open source version of this. However, it's a very early fork, and now everyone uses GitHub. So most likely people don't even use them. And that is pretty much it. We would like to go over the solution that we have built. So Stack Attack is the CLI tool that kind of seamlessly integrates this. So I'll be deferring over to Iliang to explain how this works.
Yeah, thanks, Afal. So now I'll demo the CLI that we have built. I have two terminal windows over here. On the left, we have the clone of our repo, and on the right, we have a clone of a test repo that we have built just for this demonstration. So we can first look at what's in this repo. So I have a git alias over here that will show us a commit graph of whatever's in the repo. And so you can see that we have an origin master. So this is this is clone from GitHub. So we have a remote branch master, and our local master tracks it, as well as a feature about that we have been working on. So this was previously forked from master of our web. Yeah, but we haven't merged it yet. So we can look at what our tool does by just starting it. So right now we're starting this young CLI, and we pass it the path to the repo. And once Stack Attack loads, it will show us a commit graph that is quite similar to the one on the right, except that we notice that the earliest commit shown here is 11D426, whereas 11D426 is no longer shown. It's not the first commit in the repo. And we actually do this, so we hide everything that's ancient history to us, because we don't care about all the commits that are like older than this common merge, this common base that all the branches fork from. So we hide those just for UX purposes. Yeah, so we can start trying to use this tool. So the first thing we can do is that the first thing that Stack Attack does is that it rebases the PRs really, really easily. So typically what you would do if you were trying to rebase a branch or a Git repo is that you would check out the feature branch. So you can do that here. So and git checkout feature above. And so we will create a local branch that tracks the remote branch. So if you look at this graph again, you see that the local branch tracks the remote branch. And what you will do at this point is that you will do a git rebase, and you do git rebase master, right? Because we checked out here at the feature above, and so we rebase all these commits on the master. But although this works, it has a lot of issues when you are trying to deal with a stack PR with a PR stack. Because on GitHub, every single PR needs to have its own branch, and which means that every PR within the stack needs to have a branch pointing to it. And if you try to check out the top one and you rebase the entire branch, all the branches that are pointing to all the individual commits are not going to be moved along with it. So this is a very big issue, and I think it's one of the biggest UX issue that prevents stack PRs from becoming popular on the GitHub ecosystem. So if we look at our tool instead, okay, we can demo this by like adding another commit to like another branch that points at this 9b5c. So we just check out 9b5c, and then we'll just like make a branch to it. So let's call it other branch. Now you can see that there's a local branch, other branch pointing at this commit. So what we can do is that we can try to move all of both of these commits onto master. We try to rebase both of them onto master, and we can see that all of these branches will follow it. So how do you do that with a stack attack? So the first thing you can do is that you can navigate to the base of the commit stack. So these two are stack of commits that we want to rebase. So we will navigate to the base of the commit stack using the arrow keys. This stack attack is meant to be very intuitive. So we can just use arrow keys, very natural. The commands are listed below. So you press R to begin a rebase. And so now all the commits that you are rebasing now have the add symbol in front of it. And then you can select another commit to rebase it on. So let's rebase it on master. So we press C to confirm this rebase. And now both of these commits are rebased on top of master. Yeah, so these all commits still exist here because they are the remote branches and we don't move them, because that wouldn't make any sense. Yeah, so we have these two branches now. As you can see, other branch is also pointing to this commit as well. As well as feature about explaining this one. So our all the branches that are pointing to these commits are maintained. So once we are done rebasing, the next thing we can do is that we can make PRs for them. So typically what you will do after rebasing is that if you don't have stack attack, what you will do is that you will check out feature about and you will make a PR to GitHub. And this will contain all the commits within this feature, right? And so you end up having the big PR thing, big PR mess that we're talking about. Where like instead of having multiple small PRs that you can do one thing and can be individually reviewed, you have just one big chunk of everything inside. So which is hard to review, as Safal said. So what stack attack allows us to do is that we can make it can automatically like make big PRs for every individual commit in the stack. So it's really easy to do this with stack attack. You just like you just navigate to the base of the commit stack and you press S. And what this will do is that if you go to our repo, so this is where our repo is. So if you go to the pull request, right now there are no pull requests, but the pull request will start a commit. It will push the stack attack will push and create the PRs for you. So right now we have one. The next one will come soon, hopefully, and the pull request also show up here. So now we have both PRs added, so we can open them. First, you can see that they are all based on each other. So the first PR, product text added is based on about added, which is based on master, right? So it's shown here, and so one will merge into zero and merge into one, which means that all of these have only one commit. So when you look at every individual PR in the stack, you can see that there's only one commit. And this also even shows you where you are in the stack of PRs. So right now we're on PR1, and so this is bolded, and it tells you that PR2 is also related to this PR. And if you go to PR2, you'll notice that it's exactly the same, but it gives you context of like where you are in the stack. So yeah, that is stack attack.
And once your code is stack attack, you're done, son. Moving on to Jesse, who's going to be explaining the technologies that we use.
Okay, thank you, Safa. So the technologies that we used during this project was Node-Git. So Node-Git we used to mock run Git commands on Node.js. So basically in this project, we use the Node-Git to interact with the local repository and to build functions such as creating the branches for each commit or pushing the branches to our remote repo. And Node-Git was a relatively complicated tool to use because very few people use it, and also a lot of commands, a lot of functions are experimental. The second thing that we used was Ink. So Ink was used to design and build the command line interface. As you can see, our command line interface looks very cool, huh? We had the flex box and arrow keys that can help us navigate through it. So we make CLI a much more interesting task. Okay, last but not least, we use OctoKit. OctoKit we use to interact between the local Git repository asset with the remote GitHub repository. So basically, AutoGit helps us to pull the branches, to make the pull requests that we made on our GitHub repository. Okay, so moving on, Mania will explain about the milestones that we're gonna set for our project now and in the future.
So now I'm going to talk about what's further for the project that we're working on. How do we intend to finish the MVP, and what is going to be the first version like? So for the MVP, there's still a couple of things that we need to get there. We need to have stacked PR updates. We need to let the user make some description changes in the description of the PR, as well as be able to update any old PRs if they're already there. For the version 1, we want to enable collaboration between different GitHub users so that any changes that were made by a different GitHub user are also reflected in the person's local repository. In later on versions, we would want a GitHub app that actually helps users land all of these tagged PRs. And in the very future version 100, we would want the open source community to drive the project and take it wherever the needs of the community lie.
And that was Stack Attack. Do you have any questions? Contact us on Discord. You can find Anne, Ilian, Manya, and me on Discord by the following names. And yeah, save your OSS maintainers the trouble and start using Stack Attack. Thank you.